In 3, 2, 1, go. I love the custom intro so much, by the way. I hope they remake it for every season as well. Look at this magic. Okay. It's my poor boy being hunted. I already know what it is. I already know what it is. God damn it. It's my poor boy. My poor boy. Okay, here we go. This is what I've been waiting for. Bro! Bro is just yapping. My poor boy! I mean, the CG does look insane. It looks so good. Is it flashback time? It's flashback time. I'm wondering what kind of lore reveals are they going to sneak in here as well. Because they've been sneaking in a lot of lore reveals. The mushroom. The mushroom. I am preparing myself. He definitely has that mad scientist stare down. Like the way he looks perpetually locked in. It's Bigfoot. He's real. Oh my god. My poor boy. But the way they animated, like, even that small blinking when he was— oh no! What the hell, bro? I don't think I'm ready for the rest of this. I can't. When I see some— Oh, look at the fur. Real. That's why I don't like him. That's why I like Chopper instead. His eyes are almost like a cat's. Because he's the best boy. Not the tear. Did you notice how they're literally breaking bread? Yeah, I wonder if they shot this with like a doll or something. Because otherwise he's sitting against nothing. Look at him. Valid crash out. Very valid crash out. I'm gonna say sorry. Look at it drying on his fur. What kind of magic are they using? Gonna get his little hat? I like how they never showed the whole thing of putting on the hat, because you know, like the antlers. Like, how does that work? And choppers. Many choppers, in fact. I am amazed at Chopper's facial movements. Oh, look at his little bag! The little bag! Oh no. Oh no. My poor boy. My poor boy. Look at the hat wobbling on his head. I know. The worst is yet to come. I know. I find it very sus that they linked, Roger's cough with him, by the way. Oh no. Oh no. Not the mushroom. Shut up. Is this what Aaron felt like? I think I'm feeling like Aaron right now. I think we need to all appreciate that we're looking at a literal clown right now, and somehow this is the most... Imagine seeing this guy with this hair and trying to tell a story with him. Oh no. at his leg. He survived. Do a little bit of shenanigans. The best. He's doing the little song. Shut up. I mean, I'm very happy that Netflix decided to make me in pain for this long. Jesus Christ. That's what you're supposed to do, my guy. Imagine trying to measure someone's blood pressure and they say this. The purple eyebrows, bro. The purple eyebrows. That was a good way of hiding the transformation. That looked good. So that's what we saw in the trailer. They actually just showed it. Straight up put it in the trailer. He is my son. He's my son too. He's the best boy. Everybody wants to hurt my little boy. Very good way to once again hide the transformation, Big Smart. The face close up does look a little bit uncanny. I think we should keep Small Chopper. Small, I don't care how much it costs. I want Small Chopper everywhere. Also, the painting of him on a hippo, bro. An upload? Yeah. There will be. Jeez, he looks so stupid. I'm so happy they all look ridiculous. Same. Like the pop off. Because he's Dodie Chopper. Guys, we need to get to Annie's lobby. Can you imagine Robin's backstory? Luffy just like me, for real, for real. He's gonna go find Tony Chopper. Yoink. For some reason, I thought the Reverie flashbacks were during Alabasta. I was very surprised that they were actually here. I forgot. Thought they happened later. Chopper. We need a doctor on the crew. It was little years. You're weird too. You're just like me. Look at him standing on the little book. Robin is pulling the dokes. Robin is actually dokes. Yikes. It's the resident clowns. The guy with the bow. Looks actually ridiculous. Guys? I've got no idea how much this episode cost. Brother, I was talking about how they might be hiding Chopper. Chopper was in like every single scene. Huh? I've got no clue how much this cost, but bro, the way his fur adapts to literally everything, I've got no clue what kind of black magic they're doing. I've got no clue what they're doing. It is so insanely high fidelity. It's crazy. I have hope for Appa's Lost Days. If it's anything like this... Poor Chopper. Poor Chopper. My boy. My boy. Were there any things in this episode that I thought were odd? I don't think so. I don't think so at all. I don't even have any complaints. I was expecting a few more sneaky lore bits, but I suspect those are gonna happen in the finale. I assume like the Goldie Roger thing and all that, that's gonna be snuck in like very cheekily as well. Cause I've been very surprised by the stuff they've been sneaking in here. So we'll see. We'll see. The animated tear marks on his fur. I'm telling you, like. Oh yeah, the uncanny, yeah, that's right. Chopper in his monster form, like the big Giga Chad, that does look a little bit uncanny. I already forgot about that. I'm sorry. I got a little bit caught up in my feels. Yeah, his human form face does look a little bit like but at the same time, it's almost supposed to look like that, right? Because it is supposed to be him being a Giga Chad. So. I mean, we'll see how all of it looks in motion, because I don't think we're going to get like a lot of scenes of like a close-up on him. It's crazy. It's crazy. I thought the serious dialogues could be written a little bit better. I mean, some of them felt maybe a little bit too like, for example, the Koroto speech to Chopper, it felt like emotion bomb, switch. Emotion bomb, switch. Emotion bomb, switch. I think that was paced a little bit weirdly, right? But I didn't really have any specific problems with, like, wording or anything. Man, that was crazy. I never expected them to actually do a full-blown, like, full episode of a Chopper flashback. I'm just thinking, like, what the hell are they going to do with Robin? Because Robin's flashback in the anime, that's kind of like, oh yeah, everything is on fire, Robin is running. Try to picture that IRL. A child in the middle of a goddamn war zone running to her mother. It's going to be brutal. It's gonna be crazy. Hiriluk's dialogue delivery. Hiriluk's actor knocked it out of the park. It was crazy. It's crazy. I'm very, very curious to see how they did it. Because a lot of shows do this differently. Some people act with like a Muppet, right? They have like an actor off camera, and then they have like a Muppet speaking back to at least have this cadence back and forth. I'm very, very curious to see how they actually filmed this. Because yeah, a lot of shows do it very, very differently. Sometimes people act with nothing, which I suspect is borderline impossible, because you're just like, and now I need to be sad, and now I need to be angry. It must be weird. But I don't know, like, Hiriluk's actor was around for what, 40, 50 minutes? Cinema. Loved it. Season 2 is so good. It's actually so good. Okay, let me reset the timer. My favorite acting of new characters so far is Robin and Hiriluk. I think Hiriluk is up there, yeah. Like, Robin, we haven't seen a lot of Robin. So we'll see. Because Robin has only been in a few scenes, and she's supposed to be, like, cold, right? So we haven't seen, like, her range. But with Hiriluk, we saw him goofing around. We saw him trying to hide feelings, and everything. Robin, I'll be very curious. I'll be very, very curious with Robin. Because I'm still, like, I want to see how they eventually... I'll talk about this later. I think Alabasta is going to see a lot of changes. I think Alabasta is going to be very different. And maybe not even different in terms of material, but different in the way it's done. I'll talk about all that after. 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. I mean, Rotten Tomatoes is going to go down. Usually first day is always the highest. I think nowadays, like, if you have a good show, it's going to debut at 100% and it's going to trickle down. And then it's going to settle, like, where it is. But, I mean, it's a good sign. I don't know if I'd say it's, like, it's a full 100%. But Season 2 has been incredible. Okay, let's watch the final episode, then I'll talk about all this. Alright? Is everybody locked in? Hold on. Before all of us lock in. There we go. Alright. Everybody lock in. In 3, 2, 1, go. Yaha! My favorite benchmark for TV shows is when they get a custom Netflix intro. If they get a custom Netflix intro, you know Netflix is real about them. Everything that they just kind of put out has the regular intro. You didn't see a body. Shut up. Shut up. Bozo. He has contacts in, right? Okay. There we go. I like how he's up. Jesus Christ. One Piece is body horror now. Does it involve big cubes? That's cold. But I understand. That's cold, Robin, but I know what you're saying. I know. I know. I know. Bro, the music. Yep. Yeah. Placing bets. Is Robin gonna do a sneaky little bit of helping? Incredible. She'll be fine. Very cheeky Netflix, very cheeky, biting into the thing. Okay, this is this the scene? killed it! Oh god, the voice crack. Thank you, Luffy, for interrupting. I needed that. That is genuinely a 10 out of 10 add-in. Why is Chopper doing that? You know I had to do it to him. I will. Lord of Destruction. Zoro with an aura loss wearing a coat. Bro, the episode that opened up with him just being naked, and it's like, should you be wearing something? He's just standing there. Just hanging around. Of course he did, because he's the GOAT. He's the GOAT! The GOAT! Secret tunnel! Alabasta. I was about to say, I just saw something off screen. It looks like we're gonna fight. Get him! What the hell is that? Jesus Christ! How do you even fight that? Anyway, so I started blasting. The pig squeal. Hell yeah! That's my Usopp. They have phase 2. Didn't you buy the goggles from like a little girl? do they do anything? Would you say, little cook? Exactly right. Yeah. The archer guy looks so stupid. What the hell, bro? When is he gonna do his insane mouth thing again? Whoops. That's 300% interest, bro. You're cooked. Wee wee wee. Chopper! Goated. Was the wink necessary? Imagine explaining that to literally anyone. Yeah, so there's this guy. His afro has static electricity. And then you cut on over to like the Diablo mobs. If only we had Frankie with the headcanon. It'd be headcanon versus headcanon. Very much. Jesus Christ. With your fingers? That's what you call stance dancing. Real. I don't think he's dead. Yeah, why didn't they do that before? Why not just like take off the shoe? Jesus Christ. You were supposed to wait until Alabasta to do that. Top 5 goofiest scenes so far. Dalton, my goat! Is he practical? 99% sure, yeah. I think there's very, very little effects on him at all. I think it's almost entirely practical. The music! My favorite brand of magic. A 12 gauge. Oh. Oh, now you've gone and done it. Yeah, I wonder if they tried having this happen outside, right? It might have just looked weird. Because it's such an open space that it's just like him standing there. I don't know. Prototype 2077. They're gonna do a funny and destroy the throne, right? Yep. Yeah, I thought so. I thought that's what they were going for. And I assume all of these things will just fall apart as soon as Wapal goes down. Yep. All right. Now it's time for the big one. I mean, honestly, accurate assessment. I think it is a pretty classic. Pretty sure they got more doctors than they had extras here for the rest of the scene. So we might be good. There might be like 2 doctors tending to every person. Yeah, but the castle, I wonder how it would have even looked like if they did the flag scene outside. I think the castle just doesn't really work practically. Shut up. Usopp. Stop yapping. We should have seen the scene of them sleeping together in the room. Sad about that. That was a very nice little scene. That's gonna be your son. See how Zoro looked at him? He said he knew. He knew. He's gonna be one of the goats. They really went for the manga frame there. That's why he's the GOAT. The GOAT. It's time. It's time. It's time for the greatest scene. Oh, look at how he scrunched up his little face. She's where I was gonna talk about that, yeah. I noticed. Yes. Choppa! It's time. It's time. It does feel like this was supposed to release around Christmas. It do be feeling like that. What an absolute goofball. We're gonna keep going. I need to real quick hold. Usopp should have, the little backpack! His little bag. Usopp should have told him that he's the captain, actually. Confused little Chopper. It's time. It's time. This is still... Men should part without tears. This is still a thing that... I mean, I guess it's not that uncommon, you know, that like the cherry blossoms and snow. But when I mentioned this, and it literally happened, never forget. He's back. Look at that. Oh my god, that actually looks amazing. The little bag. It's Zoro. He's doing the thing! I am ordering 50 seasons of this. Oh my god, that looks so good! The greatest. It's time. It's time. More ship scenes! Look. More of this! Look at the little goofy goober! No, you can't. That's the DLC. Separate ways of the DLC. Especially you, Chopper. He's Robin. Bro, look at him. Sir Crocodile bounty cancelled. The hook, bro. Very clever. It's my boy! The vibe of the song is immaculate. Tony Chopper. It keeps going. Cinema. Absolute cinema. Absolute cinema. This should have been weekly. I genuinely think, bro, who decided that this should be dropped all at once? What why? This was so good. Imagine watching this week to week. Brother. And it's done. It's over for like 2 years. Bro. Why? It's not going to be 2 years probably. It's going to be a little bit faster. Oh my god, that was so good. That was genuinely so good. What are we going to do now? I know. What are we going to do now? That's crazy. Let me turn this back on. Oh my god. Let me go through all of my notes. I'll give you my season wide thoughts, right? Because I started writing all this stuff. And I guess we can talk about all of it right now. And then I'll see if I end up making a main channel video. Alright, so season 2. We can very much confirm that it was in fact not lightning in a bottle. In fact, I think season 2 is literally better in every single way. At this point, I'm very confident in saying this. I don't think there is a single thing in season 1 that was executed better. Like in terms of individual arc stories, like yeah, there might be preferences here and there, right? Like I think Baratie still holds up incredibly well, but in terms of execution, I think season 2 was improved in literally every sense of the word. I don't even know. I don't even know. Frankly, like, to me, season 1, a lot of the characterization especially, it genuinely feels like they were doing a test run, which, I mean, I guess practically they were, right? Especially the way character interactions were done compared to season 2. Season 1 genuinely feels like a test bed. So, and you know what I always say, when a show gets better every season, you know they're doing the right thing. It doesn't fizzle out. So, that is cinema. My absolute biggest problem with season 1, that I ranted about for days and days and days, was pacing, right? Season 1 basically blitzed through all the character stories. We got all the flashbacks. We got all this. But what I think it lacked was showing us what it actually means for the crew. So, like, we were told that they are now super close and they've bonded and all of this, but we never actually meaningfully saw, like, many interactions between them. This season literally opens with, like, a five-something minute scene of them just lounging on the ship and doing literally everything that the Straw Hats do. There is, like, Usopp and Sanji complaining about stealing each other's pepper, right? Then Sanji is obviously cooking. That then turns into Usopp, like, trying to appeal to, what, Zoro or Luffy or whoever it was. Zoro is like, lifting comically big things. It is, like, prime time One Piece. And I was literally looking at this. These were, like, the first 5-10 minutes. And I was like, bro, if season 1 was a good translation, then this is straight up the manga, just somehow made into live action. It was actually incredible just how well they have translated. And again, I said this with season 1. I think they translated the wackiness of One Piece. But with season 2, it is so much better, and it just feels like so much more authentic that I don't even know. Like, it genuinely just feels better. Like, they kept all the good parts of season 1, like all the wanted posters, everything like that, and everything else is just better. It makes me so happy. It makes me so happy. It makes me so happy. I love the fight scenes, and their respective results felt long and earned, to the point I found myself looking away because of how dense the fight scenes were. Yeah, the fight scenes in this one, I'll talk about the fight scenes too. I think, like, the biggest, I need to talk about this. My absolute biggest, and what I think is the greatest change this show has made, is with Zoro. We have talked about Zoro's characterization before, right? Like, he is by design very muted. I mean, even in the manga, a lot of people are like Zoro is just the aura farmer, he is just strong, right? And that's pretty much it. I made a whole main channel video about this. I'm not going to pull it up as I usually do, but I've made a main channel video about this. I think Zoro's story is so good, right? But when you translated that into live action, a lot of people said that Makenyu in season 1 was just stiff. Like, he was stoic 24/7. But we now know that that is how Oda envisioned it. Like, Oda has literally now said that when he writes Zoro, he sees Makenyu. So this is a situation where, like, there is kind of no problem. Like, that was how that's how it was written, and that's how it was executed. However, it is still a valid complaint. So somebody on the production crew, and I feel bad about never thinking about this myself, right? I frankly think I am stupid for never coming up with this idea, but somebody on the production crew is a goddamn galaxy brain, because they took Zoro's internal narrative and internal monologue and personified it in Mihawk. When Mihawk popped up with Zoro, I was like, how did I not think of this? I watched Dexter like a couple months ago. This is Dexter the show. I'm watching Mr. Robot right now. This was the most obvious thing that I could have ever come up with. Why did I not think of this? Right? And I really, really hope they continue to carry this forward, because this is like a two birds with one stone situation. Number one, it allows us to externalize Zoro's story that normalized we never even hear about. Right? Like, the most emotional thing that Zoro did in this is, number one, he kind of snapped at Usopp, right? When Usopp was like, do something else, and Zoro is like, and he kind of like stomps around, right? That's him being emotional. And the second one is obviously with Chopper, right? But when we see Mihawk and Zoro is actually talking, right? He's not really talking, but he is talking. I think that is the single best way to externalize his story that normally we wouldn't see. Now, obviously, they need to be careful, right? Because Zoro is not... How do I put this? He doesn't see visions, right? He doesn't have things going on with him. So it's not like we can have a scene with where like Luffy is hanging around and Zoro is talking to Mihawk in the background. Like, we can't have that. But when we see these individual scenes of Zoro thinking about something, brooding on something, I think it is a very, very good, efficient, and it fits in every single way. Just having Mihawk there as a thing for Zoro to bounce off of, because that is the thing that is perpetually on his mind. I really hope that eventually they might bring in Kuina. I really, really hope eventually we might see Kuina personified, right? I don't know how that would work, but maybe. Maybe. I think in terms of Zoro's characterization, like, he is a character that bottles up literally everything, never speaks at all. So, perfectly walked the line there. Loved it. Same thing with Robin. Like, the biggest thing with Robin is obviously the fact that she was completely removed from the entire equation with Igaram, right? They completely removed even any ambiguity of her being involved. She was just not there at all. Which, again, I've talked about this on stream ad nauseum. I think this is a good call. I think this is a live-action medium. We saw her literally rampage Marines. It's gruesome, and Robin is like... Robin's pretty diabolical, you know? Like, we gotta say that. So, just removing a few of these extra things... Because, like, think about it this way. Right now, we pretty much have a kind of murderous baddie who we now need to convince the audience is not evil, and we need to flip her to our side in the space of probably 4 or 5 episodes. It's gonna be pretty hard, so removing as much of that personal friction as you can, I think it's just a good call. Now, they are giving hints of her backstory, and she is behaving very suspiciously. Like, she tipped off Vivi, right? Which is like she's playing kind of both sides. She's popping up with Luffy, giving him the eternal pose. I mean, that's what she did in the manga too, but you get what I mean, right? She's doing this weird sus behavior on both sides, and I assume this is gonna happen even more in Alabasta. So, the changes they made to Robin and the way they set her up, also I think is all for the best. Like, no complaints. I do wish they'd done more with Luffy's character, but I understand it's not the season's focus. Yeah, I think you raise a good point. I was scared that they were going to remove the Luffy moment of him bowing to save Nami. They kept it in, but it was a little bit too fast, I think. I think it wasn't lingering on enough, right? When they arrive at Drum Kingdom, and obviously it happens a bit differently because they're not on the ship. But I did hope we lingered on that moment a little bit more, because it feels like Luffy is like, I pop off, and then he is told, like, Luffy, don't do this. And he's like, oh yeah, I did a bad thing. I'm sorry. I wish it was lingered on a little bit more. Then again, I don't know if this is a situation where it's just... Like, in the anime, these kinds of moments are always focused on more because it's just how anime is. Maybe it just looks weird in live action. I don't know. But I do think that this season did a good job of focusing on everyone else, too. So I'm kind of, like, on the fence about this. I think this season did an incredible job of really focusing on everyone. Most of all, Sanji. Sanji bringing up his mom, stroke of genius. Again, we talked about this a few weeks ago with the trailer, but... And I guess let's talk about this more broadly. A lot of things were brought up way sooner, right? And I know that people are like, people obviously are going to talk about this. Why are they revealing... Like, God Valley was literally mentioned, right? And Brook is in there, and the Roger Garp connection is in there. And like in Little Garden, they mentioned Nika. And... when I watched through all of this, these changes never felt like reveals to me, if that makes sense. You know, like the Roger Garp connection, we are in Logtown. Smoker is aware that Garp is Luffy's grandpa, right? So you just pull all of these things together, and it almost just makes perfect sense that we explore this thing that eventually we're gonna find out is there anyway. Like, really, it doesn't change anything that we find out about this, like, 4 or 5 arcs later, like, functionally, right? So that's, like, one thing. The Brook reveal, again, same thing. We're going to learn about this in Thriller Bark. Does it, like... does it matter? Not really. At least not to me, because, like, we are in Reverse Mountain, right? Okay, we don't get his story in Reverse Mountain. So there is no story in between. We get to Thriller Bark, and now we get the story about Reverse Mountain. Does it matter? No, I don't think so. I think that's a byproduct of this being a weekly manga, right? And like just bringing that into the present day. I don't think it's a reveal. I just think it makes sense, right? Same thing with God Valley. Like, this is a thing that people have heard about, know about. Mentioning it like hero of God Valley makes perfect sense to me. Of course it's mentioned. This is just a fact in the world, right? Like, this is not a secret to be revealed. This is a fact that everybody knows in the world. Ditto for Nika and Little Garden. The Nika name drop should be a big deal, but it's not. This is their culture. Like, this is how they live. To them, it's a normal thing. So of course it's mentioned. Like, if anything, omitting it would feel weird, right? So with all of these things that were brought into the forefront, because I know there was a lot of debates around revealing that Garp is Luffy's grandpa, right? And that was kind of like a push-pull. I think there could have been ways of keeping that in the shadows a little bit further, but with everything that they pushed into the present day with this season, not one thing felt out of place to me. Like, every single one of these felt like, yep, makes sense. People know this. This is the world of One Piece. These are things that we should know, like, if we're doing these things, right? So no complaints about that. And ditto with like Sanji bringing up his mom. That's just like another thing that eventually we're going to find out about this. And we have this beautiful touch point of him being extremely scared about Nami, right? He never expresses it. It's not really a thing until Nami's like, bro, you're being kind of paranoid, like even more so than usual. And then they have a beautiful conversation. Cinema, right? Because I think a lot of retroactive storytelling, it's a byproduct of an expanding story. Bringing those things just earlier on, I think, is just like having hindsight. So no complaints about that. What I do suspect might have changed is the B plot. Remember how for the longest time we talked about what's going to be the B plot of season 2, and obviously most of us got it right on the money. Yes, it is Smoker and Tashigi, right? Big surprise. I am glad that they pulled in Garp and Kobe as well, again to retain actors, right? It's the same thing with Mihawk. Eventually, like, they're gonna have problems with Mihawk disappearing. Two birds, one stone. You have a better Zoro story, and you retain Mihawk's actor. It's just a win-win, right? Same thing with Kobe. You retain Kobe. He has this whole thing with even like with Tashigi and all that, and you still have them around. So hopefully they don't dip on you, and you're gonna be able to actually have them in future seasons. So that's very, very good. But what I think might have changed is the amount of B plot, because I was watching this season. And I was like, where's the B plot? And I guess C plot too, because we had Robin too. Like, which is the B plot, which is the C plot, whatever. But I was watching the season, I was like, where's the B plot? There was very, very little of it. So, entertain my conspiracy. Do we suspect that this might have originally been envisioned with Alabasta being in the story? And the way things are revealed and built up is pushed around, because the final B plot of Tashigi and Smoker going into like the comms network, that seems so random. I think something was changed. Either Alabasta was originally envisioned to be in season 2 and they had to like set it up way earlier, and then it was going to link into that. I feel like something has changed, and what that leads me to believe now, and this is like, obviously I'm reading tea leaves, I think season 3 is going to be expanded on massively. I think Alabasta will be very, very big, because they have now set it up from 2 entirely different angles. Number 1 is with Tashigi and Smoker, right? They're going after them. And Baroque Works is expanded. Like, we have had Robin's machinations and all of this. It is already bigger than the anime and in the manga. So, I am kind of like, are we expanding on everything? And did you originally have different plans? Maybe. Episode 1 set up a marine base attack, so the outpost makes sense. I guess, but it was something just like at the back of my brain. Something was tickling at the back of my brain. It's like the placement of this and the timing of this feels off. Not in a bad way, but like in a way where, like, this was going to happen, but I wasn't expecting it to happen here. You know? And to me, when I see something like this, I'm immediately like, okay, we know that Alabasta was a whole thing. Is it going to be in season 2? Is it not going to be in season 2? Like, that's where I immediately begun spinning up theories. Like, did they switch things around here? Who knows? Okay, another thing. The fights, brother, the fights. Luffy versus Smoker in Logtown. Oh my god. When Smoker did the thing of like doing doing all his hands and they like encircled Luffy like a goddamn cage, I was like, this is the coolest thing I have literally ever seen in my life. It was so cool. Zoro versus the 100 dudes was choreographed so well. Like, I could go back. I'm almost like interested in counting up the scenes. The sheer number of like long lingering scenes of Zoro just going and going and going and going and going, it was choreographed so well. Because if you have bad choreographing, you're gonna have a bunch of jump cuts, right? It's like the #1 giveaway. With this, nope. Zoro is just going through. Zoro is just cleaving through the dudes. So that was so good. I think the worst fights were on Little Garden. The Little Garden fights were just like a little bit all over the place. But again, it wasn't like it's bad or whatever. It was just, it felt kind of weirdly paced again. But that might just be because it is also like a kind of a bit of a weirdly bizarre arc in terms of we see this whole focus on the giants, and then like our wax man appears, and then Sanji already takes out the unluckies, and then there's like Luffy gets taken off with the paint and all that and all this. There's like a lot going on. That was like the only part where I was like, oh, it seems a little bit oddly paced. But no complaints about that. Oh yeah, Luffy singing Bing Sasake. Laugh Tale. Again, I was always confused by this, because Laugh Tale, as far as I understand, was always a byproduct of Japanese. In Japanese, you can't say Laugh Tale, because it doesn't have an L, right? So, it kind of being a reveal where it's like Raftel and then it's Laugh Tale, to me was always kind of just like almost a play on words in terms of Japanese, but for English audiences, it was obviously a huge reveal. Here, it's not even, there is no entertaining it at all. They just literally say Laugh Tale. And again, this just makes sense, right? Like, Crocus knows that it's called Laugh Tale. And like, I was like, it's a big surprise. And then I was like, but wait, it's not. Of course he knows about this. It's just something that everybody knows. What do you think about Smoker's acting? I'm kind of on the fence. Smoker is kind of the same thing, where I don't think he had enough scenes. We didn't get to see his range. He was always kind of serious and always kind of stoic, you know? Like with the ice cream scene in particular. The ice cream scene is kind of one where, like, I think the entire, like, contrast of him being like, take some ice cream, right? He's supposed to be menacing, and like, give you a death stare and then tell you to go get ice cream. But with all the other scenes, he was kind of, I don't know, we'll see what his range is, especially with Luffy. Like, when we get to the whole Luffy story in Alabasta, we'll see what he does there. But now, yeah, he is just kind of threatening and imposing all the time. It makes the world feel real. I think that is the best way of putting it. Yeah, and that's kind of what I'm always stressing with this. Like, God Valley, this is a thing that just people know. Roger, like Goldie, Roger, okay, this is like a mild secret, okay? But all these other things, it just feels like things that the world, everybody should know. And almost like keeping them hidden feels like almost weird lying by omission, you know? Like, the Nika name drop was the biggest one. Because, like, I feel like One Piece fans are so trained to immediately perk up when they hear, like, someone with a D, right? You hear someone with a D, One Piece fans immediately, what do you mean? And all these things. But when you really think about it practically, if this were a living, breathing world, a lot of these things wouldn't be secrets. They are secrets to us because we are exploring the world from strictly Luffy's perspective, right? So, like, I don't know. Like, the Nika name drop was one where I was just like, actually, yeah. This is not even revealed. This is just who they are. This is how they live. Was there anything else I didn't mention? The Sanji Zoro beef. Perfect. Like, them going hunting. Love it. Absolutely love it.
Usopp finally got his time to shine. I am so happy about Usopp actually, we got the whole thing with Usopp. We got him being scared. We got him popping off. We got him wanting to be a legend. We got him talking to Dari and which now I guess I should take the live action pronunciations of words as like canon now, because now these are like these have actually been, you know, because I keep saying Wapol, but he's Wapol, right? I'm gonna keep saying Wapol. Loved Usopp. Finally, my Usopp the GOAT getting the credit that he deserves. You didn't get the Reverse Mountain Summit music? I kind of did. There was a brief moment right as they reach the peak where Luffy and Nami is just smiling and we see the world outside. There is like a valley there in the music. It wasn't as I was expecting it to go like dead silent, and it didn't do that. But there was a brief moment of like this dreamy peace. I did like that. Crocus. Didn't talk about Crocus either. Crocus was obviously changed, but no complaints about Crocus. Do I wish we got to see the goofy thing of one of us is gonna get hurt? Or whatever the line is. I don't remember the exact line, but you know exactly what I'm talking about, right? I kind of wish we got to see that line. But I think it worked. No complaints about Crocus. I think his little story with Luffy worked very well. Also, him getting drunk and agreeing to take care of Laboon is a very good goof. Brook singing the whole Laboon story, beautiful. Absolutely loved it. I'm just scrolling through my notes. Dragon doing dragon things, loved it. The Luffy bow, I did enjoy that. Blackbeard was name dropped. But we didn't find out about anything else. And yeah, the rest of it is about Chopper. Loved it. Oh yeah, the Luffy and Sanji mountain climb, it was obviously truncated, right? But again, it's one of those things where, like, it's very weird to envision this. Like, should we have seen them climb for longer? I don't know. They might have just seen how it looks, because they obviously had more footage, right? They might have cut it together and it's like they're just climbing. I don't, maybe it just looked weird. Because, like, I was thinking, should we see them suffer longer? My knee-jerk reaction is almost yes. I think there should have been more just grueling silence as they climb. But also, like, it got the message across, right? Are they cooked with a live action? Yeah, I've said this a billion times. I think Season 2 is just better across the board. Loved it. What do you think of Eager and Whiskey Peak adaptation pacing-wise? Whiskey Peak, no major complaints either. Like, they obviously removed the Luffy-Zoro fight, which, that was like the number thing that I think everybody was expecting them to cut. Good change with Robin not having her involved at all. Eagerum just gets Thanos snapped. No real complaints there. Whiskey Peak really was Zoro's arc. Like, Zoro was just going ham. I think that was very good. Hiriluk's actor as a scene partner to a non-existent Chopper did so good. Yeah, now that I've wrapped up the season, I think Hiriluk, I think it's my favorite performance of the season. I would say Chopper, but Chopper is a byproduct of science and man, right? So, like, I don't know. But Hiriluk's actor absolutely knocked it out of the park. All the little micro movements and everything with his face, with my little boy. Also, breaking the bread together, literally, very good call. Yeah, unlike with season 1, I genuinely don't, and like, I'm always telling myself, is this just, I just watched it? Obviously, I love One Piece, right? I love One Piece. So am I just a huge fanboying about everything? I don't oh! I have one complaint. I think Bartolomeo in Logtown was a little bit forced. I think they went a little bit too hard on the Bartolomeo thing. Just a little bit. Because I was like, Bartolomeo becomes a whole thing after the lightning, not before, right? And obviously he was going to like yoink Luffy for whatever. I think there was a little bit too much Bartolomeo. I wanted more. I didn't. I thought it was a little bit overdone. Because I just imagine, like, if I didn't know anything about One Piece, what would I even think about Bartolomeo? Like, who the hell is this guy? Just walking around. And then he's like, he obviously does the Luffy pose in the mirror, right? Like, later. He sees Luffy get struck, and then one of the last scenes we see is him going to the thing. And I guess in Logtown, another small complaint is I think Logtown was a little bit too short. I wish we got to see a little bit more just wandering the streets and enjoying, like, the ambience that is Logtown. Because, like, the way I viewed Logtown in the anime, and this is one of those times where big W's to the anime for adding filler. Logtown is an arc that still, even in hindsight, even though it does have the obligatory, like, One Piece chaotic ending, the middle parts of Logtown felt like so low tension, so low stakes. It truly felt like an RPG city. Like, this is where you go in, you buy new gear, and that's when you set off on an adventure. And in the anime, this was truly an enchanting experience. Like the cooking context with Sanji. Genuinely one of the best things in the entire anime. Just a city full of people doing people things. I really, really enjoyed that. It felt like we arrived at Logtown, we all had our side quests, everybody went into the stores, but by the time they left the stores, it was dark. That was my one complaint. So I guess I have two complaints. Bartolomeo and pacing of Logtown. That's it. That's it. Oh yeah, the Calm Belt is also technically introduced faster. Technically. Why did we not see Marines in Logtown roaming around? Yeah, that was a little bit weird. I was kind of expecting... I was expecting the festival to be a flashpoint that is basically... Basically, they were talking about how at this time of year, all the pirates are going to descend on the island. And I was half expecting that to be a plot point, but it kind of wasn't. Like, there was the Buggy Festival, but I think the Buggy Festival was also not really explained why it was even there. Have we talked about Garp visiting Roger and Roger saying, "I trust you won't do the same to my son"? I don't remember the full conversation. It's basically the Marineford conversation, right? That flashback. Do I have screenshots? No, I didn't take any screenshots. Unfortunately. The wanted card, like, I guess those are not wanted posters, but like the business cards of the Baroque Works dudes, those were also really, really cool. I love those. Yeah, and the rest of this we talked about. The Reverie set was also very, very good. The Reverie, the brief scenes we saw of the Reverie was goated. Absolutely goated. Zoro and Mihawk we talked about. Dragon is the GOAT. Really, really enjoyed that. And the opening scene is goated. Yeah, that's pretty much all of my thoughts. If I had to put a rating on it, like, I don't do numbers, but I think this one is pretty close to... Let me put it this way. I don't think this was a good adaptation. I think this was a good show. This is, like, just like with Season 1... This has completely traversed the fact that it's like a adaptation of a cool IP. I think this was just a genuinely good show. Well written, everything was done well. The character dynamics, everything was done beautifully. Loved it. What did you think of Alvida skating around? It's goofy shenanigans. Goofy shenanigans. Very, very goofy shenanigans. The Luffy lightning scene, that was also good. Maybe I expected the blast to be a little bit bigger. But, I mean, that's just, like, me being weird. What else? Nothing. Oh! Prime time goof in Whiskey Peak when we got what's her name? The big buff lady. I forget her name, like her title. When she rips off like the nun thing and you hear amen in the background, I was actually laughing out loud. It's like, amen, something, and she just pops off. It was the goofiest thing I've seen in my life. What do you think of Sabo being in Logtown? That's just that was just a little goofy nod to the fans. I mean, I enjoyed it. It was another blink and you miss scene. There are so many Easter eggs in this, by the way. We already, in my Discord, somebody sent a picture. I mean, I guess this is technically spoilers, right? There is a Pedro poster on a wall somewhere. And I'm sure there are so many other details like this that no one spotted yet. Because when I was looking through the season, and obviously, like, Luffy was singing Binks' Sake, and he was doing suspicious dance moves. And I was like, is he gonna do the thing? Is he gonna do the thing? And he kinda did the thing. He kind of did the thing. It seems like it was intentional. But I'm not sure. And there's probably, like, a bunch of other things. So, one of these days, we're gonna have a full collage of all the background details that I'm sure people have missed. I wish the Logtown scene was longer and we saw other weird fishes. Yeah, Logtown is the only thing that I feel like I really wanted to see more of. Just because, again, it's such a unique point where it's kind of low stakes and we are just, like, truly immersing ourselves in the world. And I'm also sad. I think the sub changed a lot. I think the sub is different. And I'm pretty sure the manga is different too. Because the dub, when Zoro meets Tashigi, the dub is, I think it's, well, excuse the hell out of me that I look like your dead girlfriend. Or something along those lines. It's still one of my favorite lines in all of One Piece. It's such an out-of-pocket thing to say. that I almost wish we got to see it here too. But no, their vibe seemed mostly muted in this. Like, there is definitely tension between them, but it wasn't as explosive off the bat. Kind of weird that season 1 ended without a teaser ending like they did with Smoker in season 1. Yeah, I think that was mostly because this season is like 100% setup. You know? Like, I think really, if you look at the season big picture, Luffy is going through adventures, but like the actual plot, it's all working toward Alabasta, right? Like, we start with rescuing the Princess of Alabasta, Baroque Works is working in Alabasta, and Smoker is pursuing Luffy, who will end up in Alabasta, and then he eventually runs into Baroque Works. So I think the crocodile scene was kind of meant to be the teaser. Functionally, at least. I don't think there was much else you could have really teased, if that makes sense. Unless you throw in Blackbeard. Think about it. Fewer killing off characters. I mean, a bunch of characters did die today. Igaram is dead. Who else died? I don't remember who died. Adon. Yes, Dadan was also mentioned. Yes, Luffy was waking up and saying, Dadan, please 5 minutes. Which, again, big Dadan mention should be a big reveal, but it's not a reveal. That's basically his mom, right? So that's like another thing where, like, yeah, mentioning her name, not really a big deal. Oh, the Booger Man and the Umbrella Lady? Bro, Mr. 3? Yeah, I forgot about that. The scene of them being, I usually use the word disenchanted for these things, but they were not disenchanted, right? Like, Hiriluk was disenchanted. They were the opposite of disenchanted. They were like, I don't even know what happened to them, but that was a good scene. That was a good scene. Would you have added Kuina in Zoro's visions along with Mihawk, like him seeing Tashigi triggered a memory of her? Yes. Yes. I wish we got something like that. And that's what I mean. Like, I hope we carry this forward. And whenever we have Zoro have these super emotional, super introspective moments, I hope we have almost push-pull between becoming the strongest with Mihawk egging him on and fulfilling Kuina's legacy, right? And you can have that triggered by Tashigi if you want. But we'll see how that shapes out. Like I said, the whole thing about personifying Zoro's internal monologue, I think this is just like a genius call. And whoever came up with this, like, give him a raise. It should have been me. It should have been me. Technically speaking, like VFX and everything else wise, also basically no complaints. Chopper looked goddamn incredible. Like, I guess in his monster form, his face does look a little bit uncanny, but at the same time, I think that's kind of by design. I think he's supposed to be a little bit weird, right? I think that's kind of part of the charm, that he looks like a little bit monstrous and a little bit odd looking. Everything else effects-wise, I mean, there is like the Netflix framing, Netflix lighting, and all of that. That's just like a Netflix-wide thing. And there were a few instances of this where I was like, can y'all please do slightly more experimental framing? Just a little bit. Because I think I've talked about it. I mentioned it before as well. I'm watching Mr. Robot now, and Mr. Robot is shot so interestingly. I think Mr. Robot's cinematography is really, really cool. They always do these shots where, like the number one thing they do is they always shoot the scene where, like, the person is, like, if this is a frame, right? The person you are focusing on is almost like right here, and the rest of the scene is behind them. And they do this so well to create, like, this weird, unseen tension in a lot of scenes. And that's like one of those things where I feel like cinematography is done very, very intentionally. I'm very, very much enjoying that. I'm just looking at a bunch of the scenes and I'm like, damn, that's cool. With One Piece, there were a bunch of cool shots, but not so much like things that I'm like, damn, that's neat. We were worried that they were going to hide Chopper. Yeah. They were not hiding Chopper at all. That hypnotic dance. Yeah, the hypnotic dance. Like, I remember we brought it up on stream and people were like, of course, do you not remember the hypnotic dance? And I was like, what the hell are you talking about? I don't think I've ever even heard of this. And apparently, no, there was one hypnotic dance. I just completely erased it from my mind. Vivi does it literally once. And I just completely forgotten that even existed. I wish they would dial back the face close-ups. They've, in their defense, they've dialed them back heavily. Because in season 1, I still remember the goof I did in the video where Luffy is looking through the telescope. Bro, season 1 had so many shots where we were actually just looking up their noses. Season 2 has a lot fewer of those. Obviously, we had a few of those with the Giants, because the Giants had to be shot like that to actually look big, right? Karoo! Forgot to mention, Karoo was mentioned. Which, by the way, very, very nice, wholesome scene between Luffy and Vivi. I really, really enjoyed that, where like Vivi is like, Luffy, what are you doing? And Luffy yoinks her up to the dinosaur, and then he's just like, in Alabasta, we ride ducks. And I was like, that's cute. It's very, very cute. She became one of ours so quickly. I love it. She was like, yeah, this guy knows what's up. This guy's cool. My precious boy Chopper. I've had enough of seeing Broggy's nostrils, LMAO. Yeah, that's just a byproduct of how they had to film it. We got a few like weird looking shots with the giants, but the giants looked very good. Looked very good. No big complaints about that. There were like some things where you could look around and be like, something's not right. But I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. I think my favorite part of the season, I mean, I think it has to be Logtown and then the end. I think Drum Kingdom was done incredibly well. And Logtown, for all its weird pacing, Logtown was such a like a wacky adventure. Loved it. Everything in between was good. Dari's head armor looked like cosplay foam painted with gold on close-ups. Yeah, there were a few shots where things do look like a little bit weird, right? But it's very hard to say how much of that is also intentional in some places. Like props, obviously no, but some of like the way they've styled hair and stuff, I think a lot of it is meant to be slightly odd looking because they're trying to replicate like the manga anime feel. So I don't know. I'm happy to say that Nami's hair also looks infinitely better. They no longer have some cursed wigs. Very good news about that. Also, I remember people were scared that Vivi's hair is not going to be blue enough. I think we can all confidently say that Vivi's hair is definitely blue enough. Her hair is definitely blue. Loved it. Loved it. That's all for my notes. That's all for my notes. That's all for my notes. I can't wait to see more wanted posters. I can't wait to see more episode title cards. I want to see them go even wackier with the title cards. I can't wait to see more of my gang doing cool things. Love it. Love it. And one thing that I feel like is, like, it's very easy for us to say, like, we need to feel the vibe between them and all this. But genuinely, especially like this one closing scene, right, where they're just goofing around with Chopper. It's incredible, because think about it this way. We have watched them for 15-something hours. I think it works out, maybe even less than that. 14, 15 hours they've been on screen. And I fully buy the fact that they are good friends. Like, fully. They seem like a crew. They seem like they know each other. They seem like they all pick on each other. It's good. No complaints. Like the final scene with Vivi and my boy Chopper doing wacky things. Beautiful. Beautiful. Goofed around so much this season. Love it. Same. Same. Absolutely loved it. The one thing that I don't love is Netflix. This should have come out weekly. Bunch of bozos. I hope I heard the anime OP in like the orchestra version. Yes. Yes. There's definitely motifs of the original OSTs. Yes. I did hear that. I think it was right at the very, very start. There's the actual opening of the anime, and I think it was like an orchestra version. That was very nice. Music is still one of those things that I think they have weird rights with, where what they can and can't use. That's it though. That's it though. People were talking about reviews. Let me look at some reviews. Reviews. One Piece Season 2 reviews. What are other people saying? Are people validating my opinion? Do I have the correct opinion? Am I worthy of making opinions? Or should I change my opinion? Let's see. One Piece Season 2, 97%. Viewers score 100% on the Rotten Tomatoes. The tomatoes. Tomatoes. What is this? Fun, faithful, and fixing a modern TV issue. One Piece is better than ever. Big agree. What you give it? Cast continues to shine. New characters emotionally, narratively compelling. Scale masterfully depicts the grand line. This is, again, we talked about this again. I think the best thing they made, they also did this with season 1. The world feels way more connected than the manga initially, right? And this is like, people are going to get mad about this, but I think Oda was doing a lot of world building as he expanded the story very, very early. So obviously, this is just a thing with hindsight. Longer episodes feel like a breath of fresh air. True. Season 2 sets up an exciting third entry. Real. Expanded cast sometimes sidelines the Straw Hats' development. Kind of agree with that, yeah. Kind of agree with that, but I think for the most part, we know who these characters are. This guy doesn't even give them like a singular number rating. Good. Happy about this. 100% Rotten Tomatoes. Give me a number. I can't read. I can't read. I need a number. I can't read. I can't read. How do these people have a review 12 hours ago? It came out 12 hours ago. IGN 9 out of 10. So I think I have the correct opinion. I think the internet has validated my opinion, and now I feel better as a human being. I have made the correct opinion. I am so happy. Watch Luffy singing Binks' Sake. Japanese dub Luffy singing. How am I going to find this? Luffy live action singing to Laboon? Hold on, I need to mute the audio for the stream. Well, hold on. Let me turn this up. I like that Usopp brought the glasses and added precisely nothing. If you notice, he buys it from like a little girl. It happens in the background of the Logtown scene. He walks off focus, and you see him talking to like a little girl to buy the goggles. I'm very happy. I can't wait for season 3. I can't wait. I really, really, really hope, right? Because we have now seen like the full breadth of early One Piece. We gotta get to Water 7. Like we have to see the raw emotional peaks of a human story in Water 7. I think if we get to Water 7 in Eni's lobby, everything after that I'm gonna treat as a bonus. I just want to get there. And it's not that far. It's realistically like 3 more seasons. See you in 8 years? Yeah. 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 But yeah, that's all I have to say. It's been a very, very fun day. I really wish I got to see the full thing live, but again, circumstances are what they are. And I mean, at least I'm glad. I'm glad I got to watch the last two here. What is this? Never mind. Yeah, thanks a lot for joining me. I'll be back sometime soon, TM. I'm working on many things. It's insane. I'm working on too many things. So I'm not sure when I'm gonna be back on. But sometime soon. We still gotta beat Resident Evil. That's like the biggest thing. I'm literally resisting every bone in my body not to go and play Resident Evil off stream. We need one more stream, and then it's gonna be done. Your move, Netflix Avatar. Look, if Netflix's Avatar has the same kind of improvement as One Piece did from season 1 to season 2, I will be locked in. So yes, I very much agree. Your move, Avatar. Let's see what you got cooking. Because season and book 2, it should be easier. Bossing say should be easier. Like, way easier. Let's see what you got. That's it. Thanks a lot for joining me. And then I'll see you back soon, TM. I'm not sure when. What day is it? It's Tuesday. Tomorrow I've got a doctor's appointment. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. I need to post a schedule on Discord as well, because we had a very weird thing with like the whole thing of Breaking Bad being pushed and all that. So we'll see. All right, that's it. Have a good one. Bye bye. Bye bye. I'm pressing the wrong buttons. Oh, guys, stall for a minute.